the season, Hamilton and Ottawa were on elevators heading in the same direction. Down. Both teams watched the losses mount and their fortunes sink. But then Ottawa pressed the stop button. The Rough Riders fired head coach Steve Goldman and replaced him with a CFL veteran, Joe Faragelli. And under Faragelli, the Rough Riders are a different football team, an intense team with a winning attitude. 2 games, 2 wins. The offense is clicking, and the fans in Ottawa are once again excited about their football team. But little has changed in Hamilton. The fans remain impatient. David Beckman is still the head coach, but his Ticats are still looking for their first win. It's the Ticats and the Rough Riders. Teams now headed in different directions tonight on TSN. It's clear, it's warm, it's a little windy, but overall it's a pretty nice night for football at Ivor Wynne Stadium as Ticat fans hope their team will record its first victory of the season tonight. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Hamilton. I'm Gord Miller. Last October, the Ticats went to Ottawa and beat the Rough Riders at Lansdowne Park. It was their first win under then new head coach David Beckman. They haven't won since. They've lost 9 straight regular season games, including their first 6 of this season, the worst start in franchise history. That's the bad news. The good news for Hamilton is that a win tonight would move the Ticats within 2 points of 3rd place and right back into the playoff race in the Eastern Division. For more on the game, let's hear now from John Wells and Leif Pedersen.
And the good news in Ottawa, the Riders are on a roll. They've been riding along on running back Reggie Barnes, who had his best game ever just last week.
That was a great game against Edmonton. 191 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns on the ground. And, you know, I think it's safe to say when you look at the Ottawa offense, if Reggie Barnes can get 100 yards plus rushing in a game, I think they have a good chance to beat anybody. He is a good one.
Mike Kerrigan for the Hamilton Tiger Cats is going to have to make some adjustments tonight. We've just found out that wide receiver Tony Champion pulled a quad muscle in the pregame workout and will not be available tonight.
So that means that Nick Mazzoli, the much heralded first overall pick in the 1991 draft, will start tonight. He's from Simon Fraser University, spurned the Ticats and went to the Seattle Seahawks. Could not make their club, so they brought him back in, now signed him. Be fun to see him play. I've heard a lot about him. Wally Zatilny starts on the other side, and he's always been a favorite of mine, and it's good to see him get a chance to play.
So the Tiger Cats in desperate need of a victory here tonight. They're 0-6, 0-7, and it could be all over for the head coach. We'll wait and see. Gord?
Thanks very much, gentlemen. More good news for Ticat fans. Past history. Hamilton beat Ottawa 3 of 4 times last season. Coming up next, the opening kickoff, live on TSN. Welcome back to Ivor Wynne Stadium. The Rough Riders have won 2 in a row. The Tiger Cats haven't won since last year. Hamilton in another must-win situation on home turf tonight. Joe Faragelli, unbeaten. As the head coach of the Ottawa Rough Riders, David Beckman looks for his 3rd career win in Canadian football.
You know, we talk about pressure as a head coach, and there has been a lot of pressure on certain coaches throughout the league this year. But for Joe Faragelli, he said before the game, hey, there's no pressure on me. This is fun. You know, I'm coming in as an interim guy. I'm just taking over for probably the balance of the season, and we're having fun. We're a relaxed group. David Beckman, on the other hand, he says he's not feeling the pressure. I don't believe it. He has to feel the pressure. 0-6, and the team really not playing very well. Last week against Winnipeg, they kept it close, but the other 5 losses, not great losses. So tonight, they will try and rebound against a team that's on the upswing, the Ottawa Rough Riders.
The strong wind at Ivor Wynne will favor Paul Osbaldiston as he gets set to kick off this football evening. And it is a bit of a breeze here tonight. Too deep for the Ottawa Rough Riders, and this is Anthony Drawhorn on the return, out to the 30, good move across the 35, and the Ottawa Rough Riders begin with good field position out near the 42. A 33-yard return as Damon Allen comes out onto the field for Ottawa. Another win last week, 2 in a row.
He's a little behind his pace of last season. There you see 9 touchdown passes. We're a third of the way through the season. Last year he threw 34, so if he wants to, of course, match his totals from 1990, he has to pick it up just a touch. But last couple of games, he seems much more comfortable under Joe Faragelli. They've changed some formations around, and we'll talk about that as the game progresses.
Reggie Barnes gets the first call of the night, and Barnes breaks 1 tackle and has a couple of yards. What a week Barnes had last week. John Moten made the tackle, and here's the way the Rough Riders line up offensively with no changes up front. That's the way they began the 1991 CFL season.
They seem to change their receiving core around every week. Jock Climby, his third start of the season, this time at a wide receiver. Brock Smith, Stephon Jones, he's a good one. Reggie Barnes, well, he is unbelievable. And Sean Daniels, the young fullback, he gets the start due to the injury to the regular David Conrad.
Reggie Barnes picked up 6 on the previous play. This is 2nd and 4, and Allen will throw for Jerry Wilcox. It's picked off. Bobby Dawson. So a turnover goes the way of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Wilcox had a shot to make the catch and likely should have held on. It bounced right into the hands of Bobby Dawson.
Well, you know, that's been one of the problem areas for the Ticats. They just haven't been able to turn the ball over for their offense. But this time, the ball thrown behind Wilcox. Bobby Dawson in perfect position to pick up his first interception in the year. And for a team that has struggled, nice way to start the ball game. Turnover early.
And inside Ottawa territory at the 49, Kerrigan goes for Zatilny on the first play, and he overthrew him. Covering on the play, Charles Gordon. Too many interceptions for Mike Kerrigan in the touchdown ratio departments.
You know, it's really been the story of his entire career. I was looking through some statistics on Mike this afternoon, and in 1989, he led the league in interceptions with 28. 1990, last year, he led the league with 32. I mean, kind of a dubious award each year for him to lead, but that's true. That's been his problem.
2nd and 10 for the Tiger Cats at the Ottawa 48. Kerrigan got it away and is short of the first down. The newcomer, Ricky Martin. Good outside runner with blazing speed, they say.
Tricky Martin. That's what they call him. That's what they called him when he was in university at Middle Tennessee State. They said, Ricky, you are tricky, my man. Nice catch to pick up the first down. His first ball game starting tonight for the injured Jamie Morris.
First catch in Canadian football.
He says, I like this league.
1st and 10.
Tony Champion is not on the bench
for the Tiger Cats. The 38. Weighing the stop on Ricky Martin that time. Ticats have been the same up front all season long as well. The veteran group up there with Sanderson at center, Gorell and Richardson are the tackles. And 2 outstanding Canadian receivers, Zatilny and Mazzoli, get a chance to play outside.
Well, we think Mazzoli's going to be outstanding. We got to wait for a game to find out how good he is. Sure has great credentials, though.
Kerrigan for Winfield. Got one hand on it with Anthony Drawhorn covering.
Well, the good news for Mike Kerrigan is he read the coverage perfectly. Ottawa coming with the blitz on a 2nd and long situation. He had a desirable matchup. Earl Winfield on Anthony Drawhorn. And really, Anthony Drawhorn has been the most effective defensive back for the Ottawa Rough Riders this year. And although he was about a step behind Winfield, Kerrigan overthrew him. See where Drawhorn was, though, right on that inside hip. That forces the quarterback to throw it just a little bit longer to get it over him, and they couldn't complete it.
Paul Osbaldiston missed 1 for the win last week against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Definitely within range inside the 45. And Osbaldiston gives the Tiger Cats the lead. So the turnover nets Hamilton 3 points, and that's not a bad start for the Tiger Cats, considering what they've been through this season.
Well, I think any time that you can capitalize on a mistake by your opponent, I mean, you're doing a nice job, and especially, of course, for a team that has struggled. Osbaldiston, he's really kind of struggled himself this year. Now 7 of 13, but last year 87% on the season. So he himself is, I'm sure he would admit that he hasn't had the year he hoped he would have.
Rough Riders elect to scrimmage from the 35. Reggie Barnes tries the outside, gets one block, and he's snowed under.
Once again, a defense without Grover Covington, the all-time sack leader in the CFL. He is on the reserve list. Joe Campbell takes his spot, his second game starting for the Hamilton Ticats. A very, very young linebacking core. John Motten, Michael Jones, both rookies in that lineup, and of course pretty much all rookie backfield except for Todd Wiseman and Bobby Dawson.
The gain for Reggie Barnes, 4. This is 2nd and 6. Ottawa at the 39. Allen will throw, if he gets it away, and he does. A flag is down as Barnes has enough for the first down across the 50. 13 for Reggie Barnes. And what a week he had last week. 26 carries, 191 yards, and 3 TDs.
Yeah, really vintage Reggie Barnes. And when he gets on a roll, he's like, you know, the Robert Mimses. And
forward pass interference. Hamilton, number 49. First down.
Mark Dennis, the outside linebacker, called for interference. And they nevertheless take that nice gain by Reggie Barnes. Puts a number of good running backs in the league. Reggie Taylor and Edmondson, Robert Mims, and Reggie Barnes certainly up in that class.
And the Rough Riders feel when they get the ball to Barnes about 20 times a game, they have a pretty good chance of winning. Damon Allen just back to the line of scrimmage. Mitchell Price was there to make the tackle, number 65. A veteran of 6 seasons with the Tiger Cats and 9 in the CFL.
Yeah, he began his career here in Hamilton and left, tried his luck in the NFL, and when he was released, went to Calgary for a few seasons. Now he is back, and boy, in 1986, when he was a member of that Hamilton Grey Cup team, what a front four they had. Remember this one? Grover Covington, Mitchell Price, Mike Walker, and Ramel Andrews. And Ramel Andrews is playing alongside of Mitchell Price tonight. Got that one out.
You did. 2nd and 10 from the 54. Allen set to throw. And now decides to run. He comes close to first down territory. But did he lose the football? Tiger Cats are indicating a fumble down there. The referee says no. He held on to the ball.
Yeah, Jake Ireland made a good call there. Damon Allen definitely down. You know, this is the difference in the maturity of a Damon Allen. A couple of plays ago, he hung in the pocket and dumped it off to Reggie Barnes. Now he's really hung in as long as he can there and decides, well, I have to run. And he made a good decision here, and the time before he made a good decision to throw it. So maturity, well, that's what 7 years in the league will do for you.
1st and 10, Ottawa. Now at the Ticat 43. Barnes again, he's submarine. By Michael Jones, number 97.
Michael Jones, a rookie with the Ticats from Brockport State University. And for those of you who do not know where it is in New York State. He played arena football. Now, you got to be tough to play arena football with the boards and everything. I mean, that is not a fun game. So, Michael Jones, he is a tough customer.
A loss of 1 for Reggie Barnes because of Michael Jones. This is 2nd and 11, Ottawa. Allen stands in, has a receiver open over the middle. That's Gerald Wilcox, and he has plenty for a first down. Down to the 25. Dawson and Wiseman over to make the stop.
Boy, nice read by a young receiver. He found the open lane. There it is, right between the linebackers. Gerald Wilcox just stayed in that open zone, waited for the ball to get there. And boy, if some of these young Ottawa receivers can mature like a Wilcox, like a Jock Climby, I mean, they can give a lot of teams in this league some trouble.
An 18-yard gain. The Tiger Cats now 1st and 10 from the 25. Or Ottawa, rather. Right down to the 1-yard line, and he slid in for the touchdown. Sean Daniels, number 34.
They weren't sure whether he was going to play this week. Up until yesterday, a possibility David Conrad would be in the lineup, so he is out. Sean Daniels gets in. That is his first pass reception of the year. It's a beauty.
Fell at the 1, but he bounced into the end zone, and no one was there.
Yeah, he got in behind Todd Wiseman, and Sean Daniels, first catch of the year, first touchdown, and that's a nice way to start your season off.
Rough Riders in the lead on Sean Daniels' first touchdown.
Terry Baker adds the convert.
Terry Baker continues a perfect string of convert kicking as the Ottawa Rough Riders move out in front of the Tiger Cats. It's 7-3.
Riders, always known as a player's coach, Joe Farragelli is once again earning that reputation with the Ottawa Rough Riders. This team was 0-4 before, but now players like Gerald Roper are raving about their new head coach.
Well, love would be too strong of a word because I'm not that kind of guy, but Joe has come in with a new attitude, and we seem to be having a lot more fun in practice, and it's sort of showing now in the games. We're more relaxed. We're not afraid to make mistakes, and I believe the guys are really coming together.
Well, Gerald Roper, not the kind of guy to mince words, and he is the kind of veteran who's been around for 10 years that can appreciate a coach like Joe Faragelli, who would come in and relax things up a little bit. Nothing worse than a 10-year vet putting up with ranting and raving and stuff like that. Sometimes there's a call for it, but not every day.
On the return for the Tiger Cats, Wally Zatilny caught at the 30-yard line and slowed down enough for the Ottawa Rough Riders to stack him up. Gord Weber leading the tacklers there. Sean Foodie was also there, number 22.
Ottawa goes 75 yards in 5 plays, and Sean Daniels caps it off with a 25-yard touchdown pass that was, by the way, caused by some miscommunication in the Hamilton defensive backfield.
All right, Gord, let's see what the Tiger Cats can do with a first down at the 33. Out across the 40. Ricky Martin, number 28. He's had a good night so far.
Yeah, he's caught a ball, 2 carries. He was with the Dallas Cowboys in training camp this year in 1991. Just released recently and acquired by the Hamilton Tiger Cats, seeing his first action tonight. Jamie Morris, in their loss last week in Winnipeg, had some knee problems, went out of the game. So Tricky Ricky gets his shot. You like that name, don't you?
I like Tricky Ricky.
Yeah, they got Ricky Ricardo Cartwright playing tonight, too.
That's Herman Hurd on 2nd and 1. He should have a first down. We await a measurement on the field, and let's show you the Ottawa defense with Stuman, Lewis, Kropke, and the newcomer Robinson up front.
A couple of newcomers this year in their linebacking core. Brian Bonner, who's had a good season to date with 6 sacks. Angelo Snipes, and of course the veteran Patrick Wayne. Pretty good secondary. Andre Francis coming over as a free agent from the Edmonton Eskimos, and Charlie Gordon on the corners. Of course, Scott Flago's having himself a super year. I'm going to tell you what happened in Scott's life last week.
On first down for the Tiger Cats, Ricky Martin didn't get turned around in time.
Now, Sean and his lovely wife Lorna were the recipients of a lovely baby girl last Friday, Georgia. Scott was able to get home just in time. They induced Lorna, and he was able to be there for the birth of his daughter, their 2nd child, and she was good size, 10 pounds, 4 ounces. In fact, they're 2 kids total, over 23 pounds at birth. That's pretty good.
Where are you getting all these
Well,
facts?
I talked to him before the game about it. I mean, that's pretty good sized babies.
Is that in the CFL record book?
I think it might be. But our congratulations.
Gets it out for Ricky Martin. Almost got away from one tackler, but grabs 5 yards. It'll be a punting situation for the Tiger Cats, however.
It's tough to tell how Ricky Martin will pan out, but so far, just in a brief first quarter, he looks very comfortable in a CFL style of offense. He's the perfect size, 5'10", 185, a scat back, very quick, good speed, and hopefully he will add some punch to this Ticat offense that comes into tonight's action, ranking last in the league.
Paul Osbaldiston has a pretty stiff breeze at his back. Standing at his 32. High snap, and he just got it away. Jock Clammy takes it at the 25. And there's a flag down, likely on Scott Flagle, for roughing Paul Osbaldiston in the process of kicking.
Scott Flagle has done this 7 times in his career, block punts, and he thought he had a great chance at this one. He gets there just a little late and, of course, runs into Osbaldiston, and the Ticats will pick up a first down as a result.
The Ottawa Rough Riders in front of the Hamilton Tiger Cats by 4. It's 7-3 in the first quarter at Ivor Wynne in Hamilton.
Well, you can't blame some of the Hamilton Ticats for being down with the team getting off to an 0-6 start, but actually, as veteran slotback Rocky DiPietro says, things aren't so bad.
Well, surprisingly, it's still pretty good. I think we've got enough guys that have been around here that know, there's still a lot of time left in the season, and in a league like the CFL, anything can happen. So we're just taking it one game at a time, and we're trying to get our confidence, trying to get, gain some momentum as we go, and I think we'll be okay.
It's interesting. I had a little chat with Rocky before the game. They play Ottawa 3 out of the next 5 weeks, so they have a glorious opportunity to get themselves back in the Eastern race.
And a pretty good opportunity for the Tiger Cats here, but there are flags down as Ricky Martin carries again. He'll have enough for the first down, depending on the penalty call, but it looked like a little early movement from the Ottawa side.
Greg Stuman was almost there for the handoff. He jumped so early. He's had a disappointing year so far, Greg Stuman. Only 1 sack after 6 games and well below his average of normal sacks per year.
Offside. Ottawa number 45. Still first down.
It'll be 1st and 5 for the Tiger Cats inside Ottawa territory. Now at the 47. Tiger Cats had 1 turnover that led to a field goal by Paul Baldiston. This is Martin, and he's out across the 45. Stopped by Angelo Snipes, number 91. Middle linebacker for Ottawa.
Angelo Snipes comes to the Ottawa Rough Riders having 5 years experience in the National Football League with the Washington Redskins primarily. He played a lot of special team action down there, but now up in Canada getting a chance to start at that middle spot.
2nd down. And easily converted by Herman Hurd, who is inside the 30 with great speed. Displayed by Herman Hurd. Scott Flagel over to make the stop. But Hurd has 28 yards.
Well, this is what they expected from Herman Hurd when they signed him before training camp. He had 6 very productive years with the Kansas City Chiefs, and there he broke the tackle of Brian Bonner, and Bonner just happens to be the leader on that Ottawa team in tackles. He lowered his shoulder, drove right through him, but when they signed him, this is the kind of potential that they thought he still had.
Ticats at the Ottawa 16, first down as Kerrigan goes to his right. Scott Flagel was covering on Ricky Martin, number 28.
Well, when you roll out to the short side of the field, you either have to stop up behind the tackle if you're a quarterback and then look straight downfield and throw. And if you keep going, as Mike Kerrigan did, I mean, you run out of room, and the defense has so little field to cover. That time Flagel was there and put a pretty good hit on Ricky Martin. But I think if Kerrigan's going to roll out to the short side of the field, he better pull up behind the tackle so he leaves himself some room.
2nd and 10, Tiger Cats. From the 16, Kerrigan can't find a receiver. Now he looks upfield, and it was tipped. I think Patrick Wayne got a hand on it.
Say, Daniel Hunter, number 27, the Ottawa defensive back, did a great job. He stayed with Rocky DiPietro all the way across the entire field and was right there on his hip. And some people might say, is this pass interference when the ball gets there? But once it's tipped, you know, that's really fair game now. And the ball's tipped right there by Patrick Wayne. No way that's interference.
Paul Baldiston, 1 for 1 so far from the 43. And this one from the 23. No doubt about it. So it's a 1-point ball game. 2 field goals by Paul Baldiston and the Tiger Cats trail the Ottawa Rough Riders 7-6 with 2:46 to go in the opening quarter.
Well, so far, not so bad for the Hamilton Ticats, who put together a couple of decent drives thus far and trailed by only 1 thus far in the ball game. Paul Baldiston opened the scoring from 43 yards out to make it 3-0. Damon Allen then hooked up with Sean Daniels for a 25-yard touchdown. That made it 7-3 Ottawa. Now Baldiston's 2nd field goal of the game brings Hamilton within 1.
And the Ottawa Rough Riders will be 1st and 10 when play resumes at Ivor Wynne this evening.
It's funny, you look at the Ticats tonight, and excuse me, I know it's due to injury that Tony Champion's not playing, but I can't recall a team starting 3 Canadian wide receivers in that 4 set. You know, 2 slapbacks, 2 wide receivers, and Ticats starting 3 of them tonight. It's usually 3 Americans and the 1 Canadian. Kind of unusual.
Interesting to see how young Nick Mazzoli pans out. He had a tryout with the Seattle Seahawks. Graduate of Simon Fraser.
Well, he was a first-team NIAA All-American, first-team All-Star, and some tremendous potential there. But make no mistake, he's young and raw. I mean, it takes some time to develop and learn how pro offenses work. Certainly has the potential, though, on paper.
Wide receivers for Ottawa, Jock Climby and Stephon Jones out to the far side, and Climby has it. He's short of the first down. Climby had quite a week last week, 6 catches for 149 yards.
But you know, the one I like was a couple of games ago against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. That was the first win for Ottawa, and he really made the key play in the game. He caught a 32-yard touchdown pass from Damon Allen, but he spun and he broke about 4 tackles. And, you know, when you're starting a young career and you make a big play like that, it does wonders for your confidence level, and he's been playing with confidence the last few weeks.
He picked up 8 on that reception. This is 2nd and 2, and this is Reggie Barnes looking for a first down. He makes it by about a yard. Tim Jackson, number 40, leading the Ticat tacklers on Reggie Barnes.
Well, when Barnes goes off tackle, you expect your middle linebacker to be there waiting for him. There's Pete Giftopoulos, but Reggie Barnes just kind of sneaks out around the block of Sean Daniels, and Gifto's kind of saying, hey, where'd he go? Good cut by Reggie Barnes, though.
1st and 10, Ottawa at the 47. Near side, Stephon Jones. And he held on. Coverage by Corus Urban.
Urban making the tackle.
First catch tonight for the All-Canadian receiver from 1990, Stephon Jones, on the out-timing pattern, and good hands to make that grab. And boy, when he is right, he is one of the best wide receivers. Struggled in Edmonton under head coach Joe Farragelli. Seems like to have a lot of nagging injuries, but now he's healthy and playing well.
This is 2nd and 4, and Reggie Barnes isn't going anywhere.
Now,
there you go.
Yes.
There's Pete Giftopoulos.
That's the way you read it. Tackle to tackle. He's the guy that has to make the play. And watch how he comes in, and we're going to show you up close. He shoots the gap. There it is, and bang, lo and behold, I got number 19 right in my sights. That's a nice play. So you win some, you lose some. That time he won.
It'll be 3rd down, and Terry Baker will kick into a rather stiff breeze, averaging 41.9 yards a punt. Off the side of his foot, and the Tiger Cats will come away with pretty good field position after the defense held tough against Reggie Barnes and the Ottawa Rough Riders. That won't help the average out much. A 6-yard kick. Yeah, Baker gets credit for.
He was averaging almost 42 yards a kick, and I think he was a question mark coming into this season, more for his place kicking than anything else. He hadn't done that in the pros, but so far he's had a great year, but kind of shanked that one.
Mike Kerrigan and the Tiger Cats. 1st and 10 at the 50. Over the middle, Herman Hurd, and that's good for a first down as Hurd gets to the 45. Brian Bonner made the stop right there.
Made the tackle.
Good choice by Mike Kerrigan. Make that defense come up and honor your backs out of the backfield. Easy pass to complete, and there he just hits him right over the middle. Little circle pattern over the middle. You see 91 and Angelo Snipes. He's taking a very deep drop, and that's the place to go. Underneath it and let him run with it.
14-yard gain for Herman Hurd.
Well, you know, with the Kansas City Chiefs in 6 years, he caught 132 balls, so he's got some good hands.
Ticat first down at the 46. Kerrigan looks deep, and too deep.
Pass is incomplete.
For Wally Zatilny. Charles Gordon was covering on Wally Zatilny that time. And that's the end of quarter number 1 at Iverwin in Hamilton. The Rough Riders in front by 1. Well, the first quarter stats fairly close, as is the ball game. You look at time of possession, about 12 seconds different down there, and most of the other totals are pretty close to the same.
What I like is the 44 yards rushing for Hamilton. That's more than halfway to their usual game total, so it tells me they're doing a much more effective job running the football, and of course that's something that they have to do to relieve some of the pressure on Mike Kerrigan.
This is 2nd and 10 for Kerrigan and the Tiger Cats. Earl Winfield, his first catch of the night. He breaks a couple of tackles and has a first down. Finally, Angelo Snipes, number 91, over to make the tackle on Earl Winfield.
Ticats have made a nice adjustment tonight. Earl Winfield is playing the slot back position, and there he gets by Bobby Dawson, or Daniel Hunter rather, out in the flat, makes the easy catch and turns it upfield. And when he gets his hands on the football, he's pretty exciting.
18 yards for Winfield and a first down for the Tiger Cats, now at the Ottawa 28. Ricky Martin stopped by Scott Flagel.
We saw the numbers for Earl Winfield last week. He had a couple of touchdowns and a couple of long ones, but what a spectacular catch he made up over the top of Rod Hill. I mean, that doesn't happen too many times to Rod Hill, and Earl just kind of took the ball away from him. Probably one of the best catches I've seen all year.
Gain is less than a yard. Winfield will throw into the wind, and he's on target for a first down. Wally Zatilny, number 21, in front of Andre Francis. Nifty little 12 for Wally Zatilny.
I'm really glad to see Wally get some playing time tonight. He's been one of our favorites, watching him perform, and does a good job making that catch and keeping this drive going. He's averaging about 23 yards a catch now. He's only caught 6 balls, but still, he's got some blinding speed, and the corners have to respect that.
First down on a quick pitch goes to Ricky Martin with good speed around the outside. Martin cuts it in at the 10, and he's dragged down at the 5. Number 90, Brian Bonner, over to make the tackle.
Well, he has got some speed, Ricky Martin, as he goes around the corner. Kind of outruns his blocker, Daryl Harley, number 63. Now he has to wait for him. Cuts back under Dan Hunter. Then lets Daryl Harley get a block, and that's pretty nice. The Ticats rushing game, best night they've had so far this year.
First down and goal to go at the 5-yard line for the hometown Tiger Cats. Herman Hurd, he's down to the 1.
The ball carrier. Along with Mike Connor on the tackle.
Hurd got his first CFL touchdown against the Blue Bombers last week. He has the Tiger Cats in pretty good shape. Second and goal to go at the 1.
Well, you know, the Ottawa defense ranks right down with the Ticats near the bottom in rushing defense. So, you know, if the Hamilton Tiger Cats were going to have a good night rushing the football, they picked a good team to do it against.
Kerrigan keeps himself and has the touchdown as the Tiger Cats recapture the lead. Little something to cheer about in Steeltown. That was a pretty good drive, Lee.
It's a beautiful drive. John capped off the 1-yard touchdown run by Mike Kerrigan, but he mixed it up nicely, and that's something that they haven't been able to do this year in their 6 losses. Run and pass both effectively. It seems like they've had to throw the ball all the time there. Some good runs by Herman Hurd and Ricky Martin. A couple of nice receptions, one by Wally Zatilny. The Ticats have their first major of the night.
Early movement, Scott Flagel. Jump offside. And who knocked him down? He took a pretty good hit.
Ottawa number 14. 5 yards will be applied on the kickoff.
Mistimed it that time, Scott. No mistake about the convert by Paul Osbaldiston. And the Tiger Cats have a 6-point lead. At last, a good start for the Ticats at home, leading the Ottawa Rough Riders 13-7.
Running back Ricky Martin's having a pretty good night so far. This is what head coach David Beckman had to say about his young running back.
Ricky Martin's a speedster, come out of Dallas camp. We've had him on our neg list for quite a long time. Coach Mons and myself have worked this young man out early in his career at Middle Tennessee, and he's a speedster that catches the ball in the backfield. The thing we were extremely excited about this week in practice is he will step up and block you. We didn't know that because he was an I-back.
And Ricky Martin replaces Jamie Morris, who went down with an injury last week. So far, he's looked rather sharp in the Tiger Cat backfield. Nice run to the outside.
Yes, he's looked very sharp. And I think actually, no disrespect to Jamie Morris, but I think it's a better combination if you're going to use two imports back there, Herman Hurd and Ricky Martin. Herman Hurd, more of a bashing type of runner up the middle, and then Ricky Martin with the speed, as head coach David Beckman told you, to get to the outside. Pretty nice combination.
Ready for the Tiger Cat kickoff. Paulos Baldiston into the wind. This is Brock Smith. Good move by Smith. In fact, a couple of them to get the Ottawa Rough Riders out across the 35.
Kickoff is taken by Brock Smith.
Well, the surprise of the game so far is how well Hamilton is rushing the ball. Running play is a big part of that 8-play, 60-yard drive, capped in by Mick Kerrigan, who takes it in from a yard out.
So it's Damon Allen's turn. And the Rough Riders begin at their own 36. Allen with time to the outside. There's a penalty marker down. Kensley Palmer, number 32, made the catch.
Dawson made the tackle. A penalty marker on the play.
Well, as James Ellingson came across the middle, Pete Giftopoulos absolutely floored him, and I suspect they're going to call him for either holding or interference.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Hamilton, number 27. First down.
I thought it was Pete Giftopoulos. I saw him give him a shot too.
But they caught Bobby Dawson.
Well, he might have done that too. Bobby's probably the best hitter back in the secondary. He's 5'11", 210 pounds, and he likes the rough stuff.
So from the 51-yard line, 1st and 10, Ottawa. Allen over the middle. Reggie Barnes. And Barnes lost yards after making the reception. Pete Giftopoulos on Reggie Barnes. He had about a 4-yard gain and lost that.
John Moten actually made a good play initially. He didn't make the tackle, but as Reggie Barnes comes out of the backfield, just as he catches the football, John Moten, number 42, is there, and then he gets some help from Peter Giftopoulos, and they wrap him up for little or no gain. Give him a no, don't give him anything.
Not an inch. This is 2nd and 10. Allen looking deep, and Brock Smith makes the catch. He's inside the 25, gets another block. Inside the 15 to about the 12-yard line. Good call by Damon Allen. Corus Urban over to make the tackle finally.
Well, on 2nd and 10, the Ticats only rush 4 people, and they simply get no kind of pass rush on Damon Allen whatsoever. He has all kinds of time to pick out Brock Smith deep downfield. He makes a nice catch over the middle, and boy, had he seen Kensley Palmer out to his right, he could have flipped in the ball, probably scored. 39-yard gain, though, for Brock Smith.
And a first down, Ottawa at the Tiger Cat 13. Reggie Barnes takes a good fake, and here's Allen around the left side. He is inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line. Good fake to Reggie Barnes by Damon Allen.
This is where I think that Damon Allen is the most effective. Play action and then the rollout to the outside. There's the fake to kind of freeze Giftopoulos a little bit and John Moten. Now he's got the entire defense in a bind. Is he going to throw it? Is he going to run with it? And boy, does that ever put a lot of pressure on the defense when you do that to the wide side of the field. I like that.
2nd and 5. Sorry, Lee.
I like that style for Damon. That's perfect for his abilities.
Allen looks to the end zone, and no one was there. There was pressure coming up the middle. Tim Jackson, I believe.
Well, they don't do it a whole lot, but when Hamilton safety blitz, they are pretty effective with it. That time they disguise it perfectly. Tim Jackson, the inside safety, will come right up the gut, and Damon Allen actually does a good job just to throw this to an open spot where it can't be picked off. And sometimes, you know, you have to swallow your pride. The defense beats you, but you still don't want to give up an opportunity to score some points.
So on 3rd down, Terry Baker comes in.
17-21. He has done a nice job in the field goal department.
81%. No mistake for Terry Baker on his first try of the night.
A chipper.
A chip shots. 3-point ball game. An Ivor win in Hamilton with the Tiger Cats in front. 13-10.
Well, when you see a full moon, strange things often happen. And gentlemen, we may see a reverse on the kickoff here. It's a last-second decision that Wally Zatilny gets to make out in the football field. But it may be on right now.
All right, Gordy, way to come up with that stuff down there.
You get a little frightened when the full moon is out, don't you?
I certainly do, especially when I'm in Hamilton here.
Pretty good ball game cooking. The Tiger Cats and the Ottawa Rough Riders just 3 points apart. 8:38 to play in the second quarter.
Must be a full moon. They're leading.
Earl Winfield. And that one sails by him and into the end zone.
I believe that's a single.
It should be a single point.
Yeah, he touched it. Great kick by Terry Baker. Boy, he boomed it.
Baker with the win.
Kickoff taken by Earl Winfield, who fumbles at the touch.
That thing just took off. The wind just sailed it, and Earl didn't have a chance really to make that catch.
Just trickled in between on the other side of the orange marker down there.
That's one of the rules, you know, in the NFL I kind of like, the muff rule. You know, he's
Single point, Ottawa.
kind of like it. He, you know, didn't really have a chance to catch it, went out of bounds, no harm, no foul, that type of thing. But Ottawa will get a single point out of that. You can say, what a great kick by Terry Baker. He planned that. He said, I'm going to kick it right over Earl's head.
And make him touch it?
Yeah. Oh, no, that was in the plan, too. Sure.
First 3 possessions resulting in points for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. A couple of field goals and then the touchdown, an impressive drive.
Well, the nice thing, too, is you see there that they're not starting in the shadow of their own goalpost. They get a little breathing room.
Kerrigan has time and a man wide open. It's Earl Winfield. Great after he catches the ball. Winfield all the way down to the Ottawa 35 and stopped by Anthony Drawhorn.
You know, the Ticats really have been accused of a very unimaginative offense this year. This time they go with a trips formation, puts a lot of pressure on the defense. They make a mistake. Earl Winfield is wide open. He makes the big catch. And the last couple of weeks, Earl has really come into his own. And well, you expect him to make the big plays, and he's been able to do that for them. 39 yards on that one.
This is Ricky Martin trying the far side. Had some success over there earlier and gets to about the 30 this time. Flagel and Drawhorn to make the stop.
I think David Beckman should be really encouraged tonight by the play of his offensive line. They are getting a good push against that front 3 and front 4 of the Ottawa Rough Riders, and it's allowing the running backs to, you know, get into open field before they're meeting tacklers, and that just hasn't been the case this year so far. So that offensive line of the Ticats doing a much better job tonight. The reason why they're leading.
7 yards for Ricky Martin. This is 2nd and 3 for Kerrigan. Not noted as a runner, but he gets across the 30 to about the 29. He'll be short of a first down.
Sure like the call, though. You know, 2nd and 3, a little play action. Now, he didn't pick up the first down, but I thought it was a smart call by Kerrigan, trying to keep that defense off balance. And although he comes up short, I liked it.
Paul Osbaldiston into a breeze this time, spotted at the 36. Perfect so far. And Osbaldiston is 3 for 3. Ticats have a 5-point lead at 16-11.
Boy, did he ever hit that one solidly. That was from the 36-yard line, cleared the goalpost by about 15, so it shows you the kind of range that he has kicking into the wind if it should become a factor later on in the game.
Ticats 4 for 4 in possessions and coming away with points, so that's certainly an encouraging sign.
Boy, you can't ask for much more. I mean, sure, you love majors, but for a team that's struggling, I think they're doing a great job here in the first half. And you know what I see, John, as I look across the field to that Hamilton sideline? I see some guys playing with a lot more enthusiasm tonight. And some of the games I've seen this year, they've been hanging their heads coming off the field. And it doesn't seem like they've really had their hearts in it. But tonight, this is a group that really wants to get on a winning track. I feel it.
In fairness, the Tiger Cats were fairly consistent last week against the Blue Bombers in Winnipeg. They had a decent outing. Coach Beckman called it the most consistent game they've played this season, and they had a chance to win it, although a bit of a long shot, 56-yarder in the final play of the game. Osbaldiston missed that one. For Ottawa, Brock Smith. He's got room, and he's out across midfield to give Ottawa outstanding field position down around the Tiger Cat 51. Osbaldiston made the tackle himself.
Well, the Ticats aren't playing up to their past history, and that's good news in this game. Prior to tonight's game, the Ticats had averaged only 11 points in each of their 3 home games. Tonight, they've already got 16. And Leaf, you mentioned earlier about the mood on their bench. A lot of the players were telling me before the game that actually losing in Winnipeg was a bit of a moral victory because they played their best game of the season and probably should have won that game.
Well, I agree with you, Gordy, and maybe they've been able to carry that over into tonight's game.
Damon Allen tries to escape and run, but he was sacked by Ramel Andrews, number 93.
Well, he began his career with the Hamilton Tiger Cats back in 1986, where he was part of a very good front four. Ramel Andrews was. He ended up going to Winnipeg, actually played in the Grey Cup with them. And now back, as so many players are recycled, he is back performing his trade, the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Sort of like coaches in Canadian football.
Ah, yes, you're right.
A loss of a couple. This is 2nd and 12. For Damon Allen. Dumps it out for Reggie Barnes. Barnes has a head of steam, and he has a first down just inside the 40. 13 yards for Barnes. He needed 12.
Boy, did they ever set this screen up nicely. Watch to the left of your screen. They do a good job inducing the Ticats to come upfield and then dump it off. Brian Illebrin, Irv Damon absolutely crushed one Hamilton player, and that, of course, allows Reggie Barnes to pick up a first down. And boy, offensively, when you can convert on 2nd and 12, you've done a nice job. Both teams clicking here in the first half.
Barnes was shaken up. Is that a catch and a fumble? No, they rule it no catch.
Well, Stephon Jones looks like he makes the catch initially. No, never had possession. Good call. Cora Servin up quickly to put the hit on Stephon Jones.
First incompletion by Damon Allen tonight. There was one interception.
That's a completion.
2nd and 10. Allen in trouble. Can he escape? On the run. Almost intercepted. Intended for Jock Climby. And Ricky Royal, number 26, almost had one.
And a real rookie mistake by Jock Climby. He's played well in some games, but watch here. He should be working back to the quarterback. See how he just stands there, and that allows Ricky Royal to close that separation and make a good play. But Jock Climby, when he watches that film tomorrow, the coaches are going to tell him, Jock, when your quarterback's in trouble, work back to him and keep that separation you've created. Give Ricky Royal credit, though. He made a nice play to break it up.
Great name for a cornerback, Ricky Royal.
I like it. They got some good names on the Ticats. Ricardo Cartwright, Ricky Royal.
Cora Servin at the other corner. Here's Terry Baker to try for 3 for Ottawa. From the 46. And he's wide with the wind. Wally Zatilny hesitates for a moment and then decides he'll give up a single point. So the Rough Riders come away with 1. It is a 4-point ball game, and Ivor wins 16-12, favoring the hometown Ticats.
A familiar face in a new place. Earl Winfield moves from wide receiver to inside receiver as Tony Champion left the game before the game, actually, with a quadricep pull. Before the game, we got a chance to ask Earl Winfield what he thought of his new position.
You know, we got to do whatever we can do to get some offense going, and the coaches feel like, you know, we can work on them in the inside position, and Champion will be on the outside, and We got Nick Mazzoli coming in as a reserve and Wally Zatilny. So, we're trying to get the people out there that can move with the ball in certain positions.
And what they're trying to do is create a desirable matchup, and so far they've had it. Seems like he's caught more balls than that because he's been very productive tonight. Of course, when he did that interview, Tony Champion was going to play, but of course he's not due to the quad injury.
1st and 10 for the Tiger Cats, and there's nowhere to run against the Ottawa defense on that play. Ernie Schramer from Purdue in his 3rd year. Schramer, I guess, is the correct pronunciation, I'm told. Schramer. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Tiger Cats from the 42. First pass thrown in the direction of Nick Mazzoli.
Well, it's going to take some time to get a feeling between Mike Kerrigan and Nick Mazzoli. I mean, he's practiced for, I guess, a couple of weeks now, but, there's nothing like game conditions. In practice, everybody just eases up a touch, the defense does, and until you get under fire, you really never know how a player is going to react, and Mike thought that he was going to be a little quicker to the sidelines, and he wasn't.
Osbaldiston will look to the sidelines. If he possibly can. Not quite, as Anthony Drawhorn grabs it, but the return was only a couple of yards, so it was a well-kicked ball by Osbaldiston into the breeze.
Yeah, he gave his cover team just a great angle to box in the returner and no chance to return that ball very far. Nice kick by Paul Osbaldiston, and Gordy Miller's coming up with some good stuff from the sidelines. He tipped us off that it was going to go that way.
3 minutes to go, make it 2:47, but we'll take a timeout at Ivor Wynn in Hamilton. Pretty good ball game going tonight for the Hamilton Tiger Cats in front by 4.
Coming up at halftime, it's back to our TSN Control Center for a sports update. Between the Lines takes an up-close look at CFL coaches. And John and Leaf will stop by and take a look at what happened in the first half.
And I know the sports update will include the Blue Jays score today. Things are getting a little tight, are they not, in the AL East?
All even now.
Oh, boy. Who would have thunk it about a month ago? Maybe Sparky did.
No, I don't think Sparky had a dream. I don't think he had a hope.
It's going to be an interesting September for the Blue Jays.
Rough Riders 1st and 10. Beginning at the 41. Some early movement and a penalty marker does come down. Sean Daniels carries. Number 34. He's in the game because David Conrad came up lame. There's Michael Jones with an early start. Joe Faragelli looks like he's got this on remote control.
Offside. Hamilton, number 97. Repeat first down.
A 1st and 5. Daniels again, and he stopped short of the first down. John Moten, number 42.
Maybe Gord Miller could check it out for us, but Reggie Barnes not in the lineup on this series for the Ottawa Rough Riders. Kensley Palmer and Sean Daniels in the backfield spot, and Sean Daniels running out of the tailback position. And in fact, he was a trade with the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. They sent Orville Lee out west, and Sean Daniels came east. Rough Riders, he didn't have to change the name.
Could always remember the team he was on.
Yeah.
2nd down. And Smith didn't turn around. Boy, that could have been costly. Brock Smith, the intended receiver, and he didn't see it coming.
Reggie Barnes took a bit of a shot on the knee, but should be back next series. Just a little bump.
That's good news. Don't like to see Reggie out of the lineup. One of the more exciting stars in the CFL, and glad to hear he will be back. There he is.
Well, this one will be better for Terry Baker. It's guaranteed. He has the wind at his back. On the last one, he shanked for 6 yards. Now the average is getting a little closer to where it should be. Here's Wally Zatilny. And flags fly as Zatilny is dropped at the 25. Dan Johnston, number 21, made the stop.
Penalty markers on the play.
Wally takes a lot of abuse out there, doesn't he?
Boy, he always seems like he comes up limping from every tackle.
Illegal block. Hamilton, number 35. First down.
John Zeidel, a backup linebacker, working the special teams. You might get a chance to see it. No, you didn't. There's 35, John Zeidel, and he hit number 21. Dan Johnson right in the back there. Here's Dan, backup slot back for the Ottawa Rough Riders, but that cost the Ticats 10 yards. Worst field position they've began a drive tonight.
From the 15, with 1:59 till the half. Ticats in the lead by 4 at 16 to 12. This is Ricky Martin. And Martin comes up close to a first down. Slashing runner, stopped by Charles Gordon. Martin has good speed,
yes,
particularly outside moves.
He sure does. And where they're really being effective is at the point of attack. Lee Brandt Robinson, the defensive end, number 98, and Greg Stuman, the other defensive end, they're getting pinned to the inside. And, of course, that is allowing tricky Ricky Martin to get to the outside untouched. And when he's in the open field, he's got some great speed.
He does have the first down, and Martin tries the near side this time with much less success. Anthony Drawhorn read it well, and Martin is stopped for a loss of at least a yard. Minute 34 till halftime.
Anthony Drawhorn, undoubtedly the best of the Ottawa defensive backs this year. A couple of interceptions coming into tonight's play. One of them a touchdown against the Edmonton Eskimos. 46-yarder. He picked off a Tracy Ham pass and went all the way. And he's also got a sack to his credit. So he has had a good season so far in 6 games.
2nd and 11. Kerrigan to the far side. First catch for Rocky DiPietro. And he's well short of the first down. Met as he caught the ball by number 27, Daniel Hunter.
Wally Zatilny's been running up and down the sidelines. Took a thigh bruise on that last punt return, but says he should be okay and back the next time they kick.
Too bad Wally Zatilny is so shy.
Yeah, reserved.
Quiet guy.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Lots of enthusiasm.
Brother Steve with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Osbaldiston into the breeze. And it hangs up a little bit. This is Drawhorn on the return for Ottawa. Took it at the 50, made it to the 52. Brock Smith and Trumbull leading the tacklers.
You know, John, as I look at the Hamilton team tonight, we've talked about their extra enthusiasm. It looks as though they're playing with that. And one indication is special teams. How eager are they to go down and cover the kicks? And that time, number 30, Lance Trumbull, the first guy down there. There's number 30, Lance, right in your picture. And boy, this is a true indication on how much a team wants to play. How willing are they to go down and mix it up and make a tackle? And so far, they look pretty good.
51 seconds with a win for the Ottawa Rough Riders. Till halftime. Allen near side for climbing. And he's got 6 yards. Stopped by Ricky Royal.
Royal and Dawson making the stop.
If we can have our very popular greens and Winnipeg down in the center field.
Now 44 seconds till a half. Sam Houston States is Ricky Royal's college. Allen near side, first down. Kensley Palmer made the catch.
Mark Dennis making the tackle.
Joe Ferragelli rather high on this newcomer. Messawabi College, and I have no idea where that is, Lee.
I can hardly say it.
It is a first down for Ottawa. Into the final 30 seconds of the opening half. The Riders trailing the Ticats by 4. Allen steps up. then fires to the far side for Stephon Jones. They rule it no catch. They rule that he trapped the football.
It's a tough throw for Damon Allen. He wanted to go down the middle of the field, and then just at the last second with the pressure coming, he got a sidearmed it all the way across the field, and boy, he just could not get enough strength into that throw to complete it.
2nd and 10 Ottawa. 20 seconds till the half. Allen on target for Brock Smith, who gets him in field goal range.
Pass is complete to Brock Smith.
Down to the 35.
Jackson making the tackle.
13 for Smith. And a field goal possibility here to end the opening half for the Ottawa Rough Riders. One more play before they try it. Allen will run himself. And he slides safely at the 21.
The ball carrier, he's stopped by Jackson.
Make that the 26.
Good choice by Damon Allen. Got everything out of that drive that he could. 6 seconds remaining on the clock. Could not get it into the end zone, but did the next best thing. Set his kicker, Terry Baker, up. They call the timeout, and it'll give Terry Baker lots of time to get ready to make this kick as the first half will draw to a close.
Baker's numbers on the season coming into tonight, 17 of 21. His longest from 52. 1 for 2 tonight.
Well, he was a question mark as the season started. You know, he had not place kicked in the CFL yet, and so they decided they would give him a shot. He is now, that's heading into tonight. Tonight he is now 18 of 23, which is extremely respectable. Paul Osbaldiston last year led the league in percentage kicking, field goal wise, 87%.
He's had a tougher time this year, but he hasn't had that many opportunities. Only hitting on 50%, but he's only tried 12 coming in.
Not a great deal of opportunities.
Paul Osbaldiston. Punting average is up there, though, with the best at 43. Gerald Roper taken to the sidelines. He'll be back, I'm sure. Here's Baker. And he missed that one. Wally Zatilny looked to kick it out of the end zone. But I think he was over the dead ball line at the back when he made the catch.
Yeah, he was, but you know, pretty good heads up.
Which would have been a bright play.
Sure would have.
On the final play of the half. A 3-point ball game. The Tiger Cats hang on to the lead as we take a break for halftime.
First half by General Motors, and one of the big stories is the rushing yards. Hamilton twice as many as Ottawa, so the Ticats have done a nice job in shutting down that Ottawa ground game. And the Rough Riders have made the only turnover of the football game so far. Apparently the deal on the reverse on the kickoff is this. Wally Zatilny has to get the ball. Now last time, remember, Winfield couldn't control it and went out of bounds. If the reverse is on here, the ball has to go to Zatilny.
It's on. Terry Baker will kick into the breeze, which the Tiger Cats will have at their backs for the third quarter at Ivor Wynne tonight. Earl Winfield on the return. The reverse is not on, but Winfield is as he gets across the 42. Now maybe he lost the ball. Who's got it? Looks like the Tiger Cats have recovered.
Winfield's fumble is recovered by Alapate.
Alapate will apply the hit on Earl Winfield. Right in there. And it's a scramble for the ball. The Tiger Cats retain possession. First and 10 Hamilton, beginning at the 43. Kerrigan gets a charge from Scott Flagel and can't get away. Flagel will get credit for the quarterback sack. Big play for the Ottawa defense.
No question that the Ottawa Rough Riders in the start of the third quarter now are going to try and put more pressure on Mike Kerrigan. They really didn't get any in the first half, and First play, they come with a safety blitz. Mike Kerrigan wanted to set up the screen. No way he could get it off to Herman Hurd, and the Ottawa Rough Riders start off the second half with a big play.
Numbers on the quarterback so far. Damon Allen has the lead in total yardage. Mike Kerrigan has the lead in the ball game. But it is 2nd and 27 for Kerrigan and the Tiger Cats now. And he looked for it all on one play. Nick Mazzoli was the intended receiver. And the coverage supplied by Charles Gordon.
Young Nick's done a lot of running, but not much catching tonight. He's still looking for his first ever pro reception.
Yeah, number 1.
I don't think I ever went to the ballpark like that. So Paul Osbaldiston on 3rd and 27 has the wind at his back. One man back for the Ottawa Rough Riders. It's Anthony Drawhorn on the return. Forced out at the 45.
Taken by Anthony Drawhorn.
John Moten was there.
Forced into touch by John Moten.
A 53-yard kick for Osbaldiston with the wind, and a 15-yard return.
Funny, I talked to Joe Zuger at halftime, the general manager of the Ticats, and I said, Joe, you must be pleased. The club's in the lead. They're playing with more enthusiasm, and couldn't even get a smile on his face. He said, there's 30 minutes to go.
Well, there is, definitely so. A little less than that now. But it is early in the 3rd quarter. Ottawa 1st and 10 at the 47. Allen, time to throw, has Wilcox over the middle. Short of the first down. But he's got better than 5. Tim Jackson made the stop.
Good call on first down over the middle, and he picks out Gerald Wilcox. There's Peter Giftopoulos. We followed him quite a bit tonight and show you the range that he has coming up and helping Tim Jackson make that call. But the Ottawa Rough Riders, good play on first down, 2nd and short. I'll tell you, too, that Reggie Barnes is back in the lineup after some rehab at halftime. Good to see him back.
And here is Reggie Barnes, but he is caught and thrown back. Number 93, Romel Andrews, was there to meet Reggie Barnes. So the Riders will kick quickly here.
Well, the Ticat defense, which gives up normally around 195 to 200 yards a game, is a much improved group tonight, and they certainly have their heart in all the tackling as they come up to stop Reggie Barnes and the rest of the Ottawa runners.
Too deep for the Tiger Cats. Wally Zatilny on the return away from 1, and there wasn't much running room down there for Wally Zatilny. Stopped by Patrick Wayne, number 35. 2-yard return after a 44-yard kick into the wind. Stay tuned right after the game. Ticats begin at the 15. And a nice hole opens up. Out across the 32 is Herman Hurd. Just what the Tiger Cats needed beginning at the 15.
Boy, best game tonight that I can recall from the Ticat offensive line. Good hole up front. Good block on number 91. Angelo Snipes by the left guard, Daryl Harrow. That opens a nice hole for Herman Hurd. And boy, for once the Ticats putting some kind of punishment on a defense with the running game.
Scott Flagel missed a tackle there. The result, an 18-yard gain. Here's Kerrigan for Zatilny. Zatilny drew double coverage. Charles Gordon and Scott Flagel.
Boy, tough pass to complete. Charles Gordon is 6 foot, 190 pounds, and Wally Zatilny not close to that in dimensions. And Charles Gordon just ran him down to the inside physically, and that squeezed down the lane. Scott Flagel was there with the hit, and really no chance for that pass play to succeed.
16-13, Tiger Cats leading Ottawa. 10:42 to go in the 3rd quarter in Hamilton. This is 2nd and 10, Tiger Cats. Kerrigan for Winfield. Mike Kerrigan seemed to have problems judging the wind on long passes in the first half. In the first quarter, I should say, and it's again hampering him here in the third.
Well, in all fairness to Mike, the defensive backs of the Ottawa Rough Riders are doing a great job now. Burrow Winfield had about a half a step on Daniel Hunter, but Hunter was in such good position that Kerrigan had to put so much airtime on the football. No chance for Winfield to come up with the catch. I think that's good defense. You know, it's tough for Kerrigan to complete that kind of a pass.
3rd and 10. Osbaldiston is ready. Drawhorn on the run at the 40. Already to midfield, the 55, and he's dropped at the Ticat 52. Penalty marker on the field. We'll find out what's up when we return to Ivor Wynne and Hamilton, where the Tiger Cats lead the Rough Riders 16-13.
Reebok pumps. To get over to your local retailer.
Damon Allen appears to be a lot more comfortable over the last couple of weeks. Perhaps it's because he knows his new head coach very well. Allen and Joe Faragelli worked together in Edmonton, and we asked Joe Faragelli if he asked Allen to make any changes.
Well, actually, it wasn't changing, but I think he assumed that he had to do it all, and I think he put a lot of pressure on himself. I kind of instructed him to use all the weapons that he has on the football team and not try to do it himself, and to make sure that he mixed up the plays so that, you know, we didn't do the same thing over and over again and to get a read on it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it sure does. Calming influence on the Rough Riders has made them a much more productive offensive team, and Damon Allen has used the weapons at his disposal much more effectively.
The penalty prior to the timeout was against the Rough Riders for holding. As a result, Ottawa begins this drive from the Rough Rider 29. 1st and 10 for Damon Allen and the Rough Riders. Allen stands in. Fired that for Kensley Palmer. Just a little high.
The Hamilton defense is really forcing Damon Allen to do one of two things. Either drop it to the backs coming out of the backfield or throw to the wide receivers. They're running the linebackers with the inside receivers, Gerald Wilcox and Brock Smith, and really taking that part of his game away. So unless he decides to go to the backs underneath it or the wide receivers, he's going to have some problems.
2nd and 10. Damon Allen has used all 7 receivers tonight. Who does he pick out this time? Gerald Wilcox, and he was underthrown with Dawson covering. Underthrown because of pressure, I guess.
Pretty tentative throw, nevertheless. Damon Allen initially good protection to pick out Gerald Wilcox, and he is hit just as he releases the football, and I guess, yes, in fact, that does cause it to become short. Ticats have not had a lot of pressure tonight on Damon Allen, but there's Ramel Andrews, numbered at 93, and he does his job nicely.
Ottawa kicking with Terry Baker standing at his 15. Dawson had the charge on. Zatilny waits for it and has trouble. Who's got the ball? Zatilny touched it, and I think the Tiger Cats might have got it back.
I think he ended up getting it between his legs and just squeezing those calf muscles to keep it in there. But Wally took a chance fielding that one. I think they should move up a little closer. I mean, heck, Terry Baker's kicking into a pretty strong wind. You really hate as a coach to see that ball bounce.
36-yard punt, no return. Ticats might be lucky to have the ball with the first down here.
Bobby Dawson had a pretty good shot at that one, but just couldn't get there in time.
Ticats from the 45 with a 3-point lead. Herman Hurd. Stillman made the tackle. Actually, that was Ricky Martin, number 28.
Herman Hurd really does a good thing on that run. You know, you don't want your back dancing in the hole, but he got through the hole. And then he made the quick pirouette move and got an extra few yards, but that's okay once you're in the open field. And I thought Herman Hurd, this is the best game I've seen him play tonight.
Earl Winfield in heavy traffic, and he stopped short of the first down by Scott Flagel. Interesting pass route there, wasn't it?
Well, it was a quick screen to the slot back Winfield. He'll come down in motion. Now they're hoping to get a block on Drawhorn, but Gorell can't really find him, and John Kropke comes out and puts the initial hit, and then Flago wraps him up. But once you catch the ball and you start going back to the inside, you're in for a lot of trouble, and the Ottawa defense was able to corral him and stop him short of the first down. Earl's got to get that thing and go upfield.
Osbaldiston across the 40 with the wind to kick it toward Anthony Drawhorn, waiting at the 12. Good move to get any yardage on that return.
Ernie Schremeyer did a nice job after Drawhorn was slowed up just a little bit to make that tackle, and Ticats once again doing a super job tonight covering those kicks.
5-yard return for Drawhorn after a 47-yard kick for Paul Osbaldiston.
License number A.
The Riders will start deep in their zone.
A7, parked in Brian Simmons Stadium. Please move your car immediately. Thank you.
Boy, who would have believed this if somebody said this to you before the game started? In the third quarter, Hamilton would be over double the rushing yards of the Ottawa Rough Riders. You wouldn't have believed it.
Well, the Tiger Cats were obviously waiting for Reggie Barnes. He gets it here on first down, and they're waiting again. Coming into the game, the Tiger Cats had the worst defense in the league against the run. They've done well tonight. Ramel Andrews and Michael Jones on the tackle here.
Well, they read the drop perfectly. Ramel Andrews beats the block of the left guard, Gerald Roper, and this is a pretty determined group up front tonight. Ramel Andrews, Mitchell Price, and Joe Campbell, along with Michael Jones. He comes most of the time, although he is a linebacker.
A loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Damon Allen, far side. No catch. Jock Climby, number 81, the intended receiver.
We're absolutely at the farthest point across the field from Jock Climby, but you're going to have a great look at it here. Moves to the outside, and I thought initially that he had it, but then he bobbled the ball as he was going out of bounds, and that's a great call by the official. That's a good call. Two-time All-Canadian Jock Climby from Queen's University. Doug Hargraves was his coach down there.
Nice guy to be around, Doug Hargraves.
Oh, he's one of the classic guys, super guy, good football coach, and a very, very nice person.
Baker has it go over his head. He won't have a play. That's 2.
Terry Baker really panicked there a little bit. The Ticats had set up a return, and really there was no pressure coming. Bobby Dawson will finally get there, but honestly think had Baker taken a look, he might have been able to do something with the football. You be the judge. This is a judgment call. He's thinking just don't give them a touchdown, but well, he might have had a chance to get up.
I think he did the wise thing. 18-13. The Tiger Cats lead the Ottawa Rough Riders, and Ivor wins tonight.
Irv Damon, the center, launches a rocket that Terry Baker can't hang on to right through his hands. And let's have a look from this angle. And I don't know. Better safe than sorry, though.
I think you are correct now. I think you've come around to my way of thinking that was the smart play at that time.
Sure. Then if you just sit there, you're off the hook. It's all the center's fault. But if you get up and try and kick it and it's blocked, then
6:21 to play, third quarter. Ticats in front by 5. Ready for the Ottawa kickoff. This is Nick Mazzoli. And he was stopped by Drawhorn. First time he's touched the ball, right?
You think they know about the reverse?
Well, the reverse is only going to work if the ball goes to Wally, right?
Yeah. Well, we've beaten this one to death here, and
I hope they do it before this is over.
They must know something, and they're not kicking it to our man Wally.
Mike Kerrigan starts just shy of the 40. First and 10, Ticats at the 39. Mazzoli has his first CFL catch. And his first down. Nick Mazzoli. A 12-yard gain. Drawhorn made the stop, and that must feel pretty good, Leaf.
Well, I know he's got some family and friends here tonight. Born in Markham, Ontario, went to high school there, and then, of course, went out to Simon Fraser, and they will all be happy because this is his first catch as a professional, and nice-looking pass and run.
Had a tryout with the Seattle Seahawks after being drafted #1 by the Tiger Cats. Ricky Martin out to the 55.
You know, some people might say, well, why would he spurn the team that drafted him? He was the #1 pick overall, and, you know, some people might be negative on the fact that he went to Seattle, but, you know, I think it's really a positive thing, and chances are he wasn't going to crack the Seattle lineup, but I suspect that he learned a lot about being a wide receiver in his few weeks in Seattle and can only benefit him down the road. A lot of players have been like that. Pete Giftopoulos, he went to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nick Mazzoli trying the same route.
The gain was 3, 2nd and 7. Kerrigan near side. Zatilny makes the catch, according to one official.
I think he got away with one right there. He was bobbling the ball when he went out of bounds. Now, I'm looking right down on that one, and you're going to have a good look at it here, and you be the judge at home. Was it or wasn't it? I don't know about that one. Can I get you off the fence?
I think he was out, but it's a 10-yard gain as it stands right now.
That's all that matters.
Nowhere to go for Ricky Martin as Greg Stuman came up from his spots to make the tackle.
There's no question that Greg Stuman is struggling this year in the sacking department, but what you have to do when you're not having a great year, the best thing that you're best at is you have to do the other things, and let's get great penetration, fight off a block, and make a tackle in the backfield. That's as good as a sack right there, and boy, he has had some great years. The 1987 defensive MVP that year, he led the league with 23 sacks. He is a good one.
He lost a few that time. Did Martin, and Kerrigan will lose more here on 2nd and 17. Angelo Snipes, a middle linebacker, getting to Mike Kerrigan. So the Ticats get set to kick it away.
Well, you sure see the difference in offenses. You know, you have a Tracy Hammer, a Doug Flutie, or a Damon Allen, and maybe they can get away from the pass rush. Tracy Ham sure did it the other night against the Argonauts, but here, Mike Kerrigan without that mobility, and Angelo Snipes on the blitz able to come up with the sack. And, you know, unless Kerrigan can get the ball off quickly, he is not as effective. He has a great reputation as a three-step passer.
Second sack by the Ottawa Rough Riders. Flagel had one earlier. Here's Paul Osbaldiston. Great kick. Anthony Drawhorn has troubles. And he's surrounded after bobbling the ball. Rough Riders haven't had good field position so far in the second half. They'll begin near the 20 when we return to the CFL Game of the Week on TSN. It's the Tiger Cats 18, Ottawa.
Having a big night for the Ticats. He's already made 6 tackles. We're only in the 3rd quarter. And he's also got 6 rookies playing alongside him. We asked him about that before the game.
As far as schemes and preparing for the game, no. But as far as working with one another, I mean, you need time on defense to work with the guy beside you to know what's happening. And I think that's one of the things that's hurting us. We brought in rookies early, and then when they started feeling more comfortable, a few of the veterans got hurt, and now we're back to the veterans coming back in there. So that's, I mean, we're starting to improve a little bit, but that's one of the key situations with our defense.
The rookies aren't necessarily in key positions, though, are they? 2 rookie cornerbacks, 2 rookies on the line.
A couple of rookie linebackers, and I think Pete Giftopoulos makes a very astute comment that, you know, when you have that many rookies starting in there, you really limit yourself to what kind of defensive schemes you can employ. You have to be a lot more basic, and she understands that, doesn't she?
She's not a rookie. She's a sophomore. I saw her here last year.
Well, the fans here having a much better time tonight as their Ticats lead in our Game of the Week by 5.
1st and 10 Ottawa beginning at the 21. This is Reggie Barnes. And again, there's nowhere to go. That time, Romel Andrews had Barnes in his grasp. Or was that Sean Daniels? Sorry about that.
Well, I can't believe the difference in the Ticat front four tonight. They are playing like they're possessed tonight. They're just determined that nobody is going to block them. Guys like Michael Jones, Ramel Andrews, Mitchell Price, and Joe Campbell, they are just fighting through all those blocks of the Ottawa offensive line, and this group has really enjoyed a nice night.
The gain is 1. This is 2nd and 9. Damon Allen looks to throw. No one is open. Now he finds someone. Great catch, a one-hander by James Ellingson. 16 yards the gain as Ellingson one-handed that.
Made a great catch, but that's what a running quarterback will do to a defense. You'll see Damon Allen finally moving out to the right side of your screen, and number 42, John Moten, the linebacker, he's caught in a bad spot. He was initially covering Ellingson. He comes up to play the run, and Damon Allen throws it over top of him.
On first down, Allen to the far side, and Jock Climby makes the catch. A diving catch for Jock Climby in front of Ricky Royal.
Nice catch by Jock Climby. Stretches right out and looks to the inside to try and freeze Ricky Boyle a little bit, then stretches out. He was originally the first pick of the Toronto Argonauts last season in 1990. Things just did not work out for him, so he became a free agent, and the Ottawa Rough Riders very happy to be able to pick him up.
First down, Ottawa. And another completion. Brock Smith, number 80. Tim Jackson in on the tackle for the Tiger Cats. Smith has about 5. This will be 2nd and 5 Ottawa into the final minute now of the 3rd quarter at Hamilton. Ticats leading 18-13. Allen looks to his left and looks deep. Tim Jackson covering on Jock Climby.
Good coverage by the Ottawa, or the Hamilton secondary rather. Ricky Royal up in the short flat. That means Timmy Jackson has the deep third of the field, and he is right there to knock the ball away. Pretty good pressure coming. A little bit late from Joe Campbell, but nevertheless, good pass coverage by that Ticat secondary.
Terry Baker will kick for the last time into the wind with 18 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Ricardo Cartwright from the 25 on the return for the Tiger Cats. And Cartwright is roughed up and forced into the cement wall. A flag comes down. Charles Gordon will likely get called.
Well, when I first saw this play, I really didn't think it was a late hit.
Ottawa number 26, first down.
Yeah, it's a late hit. He was out of bounds, and of course with the cement wall being so close to the field here, I think the officials are even more conscious of protecting the players when they're vulnerable along the sidelines, and indeed he was out of bounds, and that is a good call. You have to protect the players on the field, and Charles Gordon should have waited, not done it.
The good news, the cheerleaders are all safe, Lee.
Oh,
they got out of the way.
Thank God for that.
1st and 10 for Kerrigan. Looking deep for Zatilny. He looked over the wrong shoulder. Quarter number 3 is complete. At Iverwin and Hamilton, Tiger Cats will be 2nd and 10 when we return. Right now, the Cats lead the Rough Riders 18-13.
3rd quarter statistics brought to you by General Motors. Dead even in total yards, and Hamilton maintains its advantage in the rushing department, 92 to 40 yards for the Ticats.
And this is 2nd and 10. Hamilton. Kerrigan finds Winfield away from the first tackle. And Winfield has a first down. Forced out by Brian Bonner. And I think he got away from Andre Francis.
Yeah, he sure did. And that's why Earl Winfield is so valuable to this Hamilton offense. And they have to get the ball to him. He has the ability to break the tackle as he does right here. You know, if he's tackled, they don't pick up the first down. But that little extra effort gets him the first down and keeps the drive going.
Ticats at the 44. 1st and 10. And a mix-up there as Mazzoli didn't turn around quickly enough. Some pressure on Kerrigan from Brian Bonner.
Dave Richardson and Patrick Wayne having a little tete-a-tete. I think Richardson.
You're bilingual, and that's one thing I've really been impressed about you.
No, it's very good. Mike Kerrigan takes the hit just as he tries to release his football to Nick Mazzoli. That's probably why it wasn't even close.
A little wobble on the ball. 2nd and 10, Tiger Cats. Kerrigan far side, Winfield the intended target. And again a mix-up. Drawhorn was covering. 2 in a row. Receivers not looking to the quarterback. Now, who do you blame there? You usually blame the quarterback, right?
Well, they were trying to run a flat where Winfield goes to the flat and then turns it straight upfield and trying to hit the home run. And I mean, it's a play that they've done hundreds of times in practice. And that time, Kerrigan had to let the ball go a little sooner than he wanted to. And at times, the Ticats tonight have looked so good on offense, and then at other times, they've been really in disarray. He's having a good night.
He certainly is, just below average on a windy evening, but that could drop a little bit. This one is into the breeze and hangs up a little bit. Anthony Drawhorn draws a flag. A couple of flags there. Into the breeze, 41 yards for Paul Osbaldiston. No return for Drawhorn.
Tune Alapate was the man that they're going to call. Boy, it looked as though he was backpedaling trying to get out of that. That's unfortunate. That was a great kick by Osbaldiston in the wind. Lots of hang time.
No yards. Hamilton number 91. Illegal block. Ottawa number 32. First down.
So things will be fairly even as a result of a penalty each way.
Kensley Palmer on the illegal block, so the ball remains exactly where it was down, and the Ottawa Rough Riders have a long way to go as they trail by 5.
Again, late field position. Ottawa has not had great field position in the second half. Reggie Barnes. And Barnes is strung out. Nice tackle against Peter Giftopoulos.
Giftopoulos has to be a leader for this defense, and he has to take charge on the field. Joe Campbell, initially 45, does a great job on Rob Smith to stuff the play at the point of attack, and then Pete Giftopoulos with good range from the middle comes up and makes the tackle. And who can forget Peter Giftopoulos way back in Penn State days when his team defeated Miami for a national championship, and he had the key interception.
And he is the reason Reggie Barnes hasn't been running well tonight. Damon Allen does. I think he's still short of the first down. Not quite enough for Damon Allen, so Ottawa will kick. Allen heads to the bench. Terry Baker comes to the field.
There's Pete Giftopoulos, and it was 1986 in the Fiesta Bowl. The Penn State Nittany Lions were playing the Miami Hurricanes for the national championship. Miami driving late in the game, and who was there but Hamilton's own Pete Giftopoulos to make the key interception. And Penn State went on to win the national championship. What a highlight in his young career that was.
Terry Baker with the breeze. Low snap. Not a deep kick. Richard Nurse has trouble with the ball. But the Ticats will have great field position across midfield at the Ottawa 45. Now, back of the play, several flags have been tossed. We'll check that out and return to Ivor Wynn in just a moment.
10 months ago, October 14th, 1990 in Lansdowne Park. Final minutes of the game, Mike Kerrigan's pass is tipped right into the hands of Earl Winfield for the winning touchdown of the ball game. Ticats defeat Ottawa 37-33. That was the good news. The bad news is that they haven't won since.
Yes, Gordon, that's 9 games ago, including 6 straight losses here in 1991. Kerrigan had a great night that night. 4 touchdown tosses in the last win for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Yeah, as I recall, over 400 yards passing that afternoon. And Ticats, we will remind you, off to the worst start in club history and trying to turn that around tonight with their first win.
Better performance by the Tiger Cats tonight.
Oh, it is. There's no question about that. David Beckman has to be thrilled with the intensity level that his team has shown throughout 3 quarters and better. You know, I think there's so many reasons why they're playing better. The offensive line, no question, they are having a good night. And the turnover factor, Ottawa's committed the only turnover, an interception by Bobby Dawson. 1 turnover in the game, and that is kind of unusual because Ottawa and Hamilton come into this game ranked 7th and 8th in the turnover department. So both teams playing error-free football, and it shows. We've got a good one.
12:05 to play in the 4th quarter with the Tiger Cats in front by 5 at 18-13. An unnecessary roughing call. Unnecessary roughness call against the Tiger Cats has them back at the 40 with a first down. This is the newcomer, Ricky Martin. Couple of good moves by Martin. If he gets one more block, and he doesn't. He's to the 45, and there was one man to beat. Andre Francis made the tackle.
Mike Kerrigan threw a block for Ricky Martin. Ricky Martin reverses his field. Good job by Patrick Wayne to turn the ball back to the inside. And imagine if you can see Mike Kerrigan. Well, he tries to throw one there on Daniel Hunter. Andre Francis with a good open field tackle. Still, they pick up some yardage, though.
He got 4. This is 2nd and 6. Tiger Cats now at their own 45. Kerrigan will throw quickly to Wally Zatilny, picked off by Scott Flagel. And Flagel is down to the 40. You jinxed him, pal. You jinxed him.
On the interception.
Well, he read it perfectly. He was free in his coverage, and the blitz was coming. He saw Wally Zatilny come on the post. He read Kerrigan's eyes, broke on the football, and the 2-time All-Canadian comes up with his 3rd interception at a very, very crucial time. And that is experience, folks. 9 years in the league. He's seen it all, and he reacts perfectly and makes the interception. He's having a great year.
The only thing that beats experience, Leaf, is more experience.
Well, you know, talking to Joe Farragelli in that last-minute win over Edmonton, Flagel was the guy that was saying, hold Michael Souls up and try and run the clock out. And, I mean, he did that, and they won the game, and that's experience. You cannot replace it.
1st and 10 Rough Riders at the Tiger Cat 37. Damon Allen has Brock Smith, and Smith is stopped short of a first down at the 30. Todd Wiseman, the safety, was there. Haven't mentioned Wiseman a lot tonight. He's the leading tackler on the Tiger Cats, which is not necessarily a good sign when the leading tackler is a safety.
I don't like that one.
But he had a couple of interceptions last week, Todd Wiseman. The gain was 7. This is 2nd and 3. Allen to the far side has Sean Daniels, who got away from one and has it up for the first down. He's down to the Tiger Cat 20. The gain is 10.
Sean Daniels is like a bowling ball out there. 5'11", 230 pounds. Played his university football at Bowling Green in Ohio. And you watch right here. He just kind of bounces off the tackler, linebacker John Moulton. He picks up a nice first down. He's had a good night. Got his first touchdown of the year.
Rough Riders 1st and 10 at the Tiger Cat 20. Pressure on Allen. He eludes the first wave and decides to carry himself. Damon Allen will have a first down. Can he get the touchdown? No. Forced out at around the 5.
Damon Allen, the ball carrier.
17 yards to gain. Around Peter Giftopoulos.
Oh, he makes a great move on Pete Giftopoulos. Pete has had a good night, but right here, he is no match for the quickness of Damon Allen. Nice move to get around Michael Jones initially, and then watch the move right here. Good run by Damon Allen.
The Rough Riders down to the Tiger Cat 3.
Doesn't run as much as he used to, but when he does, it's usually pretty effective.
3 runners in the backfield. Reggie Barnes, and he's down to the 1. Riders will have 2 cracks at it from there.
I've never been crazy about trap blocking on the goal line. The defense trying to get penetration, and that time they do as the play is stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Kari Lirenko, the right tackle, coming all the way down the line of scrimmage. He gets stuffed in the hole, and Reggie Barnes is denied the touchdown.
He may get another crack at it here. Second and goal to go. Riders at the 1. Reggie Barnes, that's touchdown number 6 for Reggie Barnes in 1991. The Ottawa Rough Riders are into the lead by a point, 19-18.
Good surge, and then up over the top for Reggie Barnes. You know, last year he had 5 rushing touchdowns the entire season, so in Game 7, he is able to surpass that mark with 6 in 1991. It's been a long time since the Ottawa Rough Riders had the lead.
It has. The Tiger Cats have been in control since halftime. And with 8:06 to play in the 4th, the Riders are going for a 2-point convert.
Good call. They're ahead by 1.
And it's good. Brock Smith. So Barnes has the touchdown, and Brock Smith has the 2-point convert. The Ottawa Rough Riders are back in the lead by 3. The difference so far in Hamilton as the Rough Riders move out in front. A turnover. Scott Flagle's interception sets up Ottawa's touchdown as the Rough Riders take the lead. 1 turnover each way, but as it looks right now, this one is the difference. Scott Flagle's 3rd interception of the season. Ready for the Rough Rider kickoff with 8:06 to play, 4th quarter. Ricardo Cartwright. Had some speed, a lot of running to get out across the 32.
By Cartwright. Underrated tackle.
And here's Sean Footy with a tackle.
Yeah, one of the guys that works very hard on special teams. You might recall a game we did out in Edmonton where Henry the Gizmo Williams ran all the way down the field with a punt and left it on the 5-yard line. Well, Sean Footy recovered that and ran all the way back downfield. Now, the interesting part about it, he ran down 40 yards on the cover. He chased Gizmo back 78 and then ran 65 back his own way across field. He ran 200 yards on one play. And of course, I was kidding him about it the night before the game today. I said, hey, you were a track guy at York University. You were a hurdler. You should have been able to go the distance. He said, Leaf, after I ran 200 yards, my hamstrings were screaming and he couldn't make it. But that's a lot of running on one play, isn't it?
He ran out of gas. That's a play that will go down in CFL history, I think, for quite a number of years. They'll talk about the one that Gizmo left at the 5, and Sean Footy was a very big part of that. Gain of 6 for Hurd, and this is 2nd and 4. Mazzoli has a first down. Nick Mazzoli gets out across the 40, and he might be 6 inches short. As we look at it now, Brian Bonner made the tackle.
Caught 2 passes tonight, both the same play. Quick screen to the wide receiver, trying to utilize his speed and quickness downfield. Andre Francis with the initial hit, and then Brian Bonner wraps him up, and they are in fact about a foot short, and pretty big decision for David Beckman.
No, you gamble here and now.
Oh, sure I would.
Yeah.
I would, but you know, I'm not David Beckman.
Down by 3 with 6:50 to go.
Well, Kerrigan's 6'4" and 250 pounds, and Dale Sanderson is center. If gets any kind of block, Kerrigan should be able to just fall forward and pick it up.
3rd and less than a yard to go as the Ticats go gambling. No flags down. They should have the first down. Mike Kerrigan himself. Ottawa coming back to take the lead from the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Kerrigan in trouble, finds Ricky Martin. What a great run. Still going, he's inside the 40. Daniel Hunter, number 27, over to make the stop. A 29-yard gain by Ricky Martin. You got to like this guy's stuff tonight.
Boy, has he injected some life into this offense tonight. And you know what? He showed me a lot on that play. Watch how he sets up the block of Daryl Harrell. 63 on 91, Angelo Snipes. He allowed Harley to get in position so he didn't clip Snipes. That was a great catch and run. Those are the kind of plays they haven't been able to do this year. Now they're making them here in the fourth quarter.
Herman Hurd on 1st and 10. Yeah, it was just that momentary pause in Martin's run that allowed the block.
Sure was. It was
Good
great.
observation.
So they keep this drive alive. 5:18. They trail by 3. Could we have?
No. Not OT again. Well, a 3-point ball game. 2nd and 8 facing the Tiger Cats now. Martin dropped the ball, and he's lucky to get it back. You see, now you've set this thing up perfectly. Kick the field goal here, and it's even.
Well, they lost some valuable yardage there. They lost a good 6 yards there on that poor exchange, and now it makes Paulus Baldwin's field goal that much more difficult, kicking into the wind, and he will try and nail it from just outside the 48-yard line. Now, if his field goal from the 36 earlier in the game was any indication, there's no problem with the range here for him. He has an exceptionally strong leg, and he has been perfect tonight so far, and now he's being called upon to nail one and try and tie it up.
Todd Dillon holding. Osbaldiston into the wind. He's wide. Drawhorn gives up a single point. So it's a 2-point game right now.
Wide taken by Anthony Drawhorn, who concedes the single point.
21 for the Rough Riders, 19 for the Tiger Cats. There's more ahead at Ivor Wynn tonight.
Hamilton opened the scoring with a 43-yard Paul Osbaldiston field goal. Ottawa took the lead as Damon Allen hooked up with Sean Daniels from 25 yards out to make it 7-3. Osbaldiston struck again before the end of the first quarter and cut that lead to 7-6. Then Mike Kerrigan went in from 1 yard out to give Hamilton the lead 13-7. Terry Baker answered that with a 14-yard field goal, and it was 13-10. After a single, Paul Osbaldiston hit from 36. That made it 16-11. The score was 16-13 at the half. A safety then made it 18-13. Then 21-18 in favor of Ottawa as Reggie Barnes went in from a yard out. They added a 2-point convert. And now Paul Osbaldiston has kicked the single to make it 21-19.
And now the Ottawa Rough Riders. First down at the 42. Allen far side. Sean Daniels makes the catch. He's short of the first down.
Pass complete to Sean Daniels. Dawson.
Forced out by Bobby Dawson.
Well, you have to be impressed the way Sean Daniels has come in as a backup tonight and caught the football so well. He looks very cool and calm out there and pressed into duty when David Conrad could not start at fullback this week, and he has looked good.
The gain is 6. This is 2nd and 4. Reggie Barnes. And again, the Tiger Cat defense comes up big, led by Peter Giftopoulos. Reggie has not had a night to run wild at Ivor Wynn. 17 yards total rushing for Reggie Barnes tonight.
Counter trap to try and influence the middle linebacker, but Pete Giftopoulos read it perfect. Cut into the block of the pulling left tackle, Rob Smith, and well, the Ticats, who have seldom been able to come up with the big play at the right time, certainly do it there with Giftopoulos' hit. He has been good from tackle to tackle.
And Barnes, considering he had 191 yards last week, has been a little bit off tonight, or at least stymied by the Tiger Cat defense. Baker with the win. Kicking it away from Zatilny. He may not have much of a play. Out to the 20. Met there by Stuman and Campbell.
Hunter, along with
Stuman and Hunter, I should say.
Now let's welcome back.
Well, David Beckman is down by a couple. But the Tiger Cats have the ball, and 3:03 to play at home.
Back in Hamilton, where Ottawa leads by 2 late in the fourth quarter. The CFL season is almost half over. We ask Commissioner Donald Crump for an evaluation.
Well, Gord, I hope that on the very last game of the season, that everybody's tied for first place. We have to go into playoffs to determine it. And the excitement level this year is coming along really good, I believe. The Ottawa situation with the league running the team is hopefully coming to a conclusion sometime in the near future. I'm continuing the negotiations, and things are looking good. The Toronto Argonauts with the pinball and the rocket are really stirring up this league, and I think that we're going to have a great ending to it.
Well, the Ottawa Rough Riders have had a good couple of weeks on the field, Mr. Commissioner. They look for their third straight here tonight and have the lead with 3:03 to go. But the Tiger Cats have the ball, and they're only 2 points behind. Leaf Hamilton needs a long drive here.
Well, they're capable of it. They've played pretty well for the most part tonight.
Pressure on Kerrigan. He gets away from the first wave and fires low for Wally Zatilny. Lots of pressure on Kerrigan.
Lee Brandt Robinson, the newcomer, in his second game at defensive end for the Ottawa Rough Riders, finally applying the pressure to Mike Kerrigan along the sideline. Kerrigan, I mean, this is not his forte, rolling out and throwing on the run. He is truly a drop-back passer, and Lee Brandt Robinson got in with pressure.
Kerrigan had a 60-yard drive for a touchdown early in the game, but now faces 2nd and 10 at the 19. Looking long for Winfield. No flag, no catch. Anthony Drawhorn covering on Earl Winfield. Do you think he wanted a flag right there?
I think so. Well, the official was right on the spot there. Let's watch at the end as the ball is in the air. Well, you know, Winfield's trying to fight back through the football. The defensive back, he's entitled to his territory, too. I thought it was a good play by Anthony Drawhorn. He's entitled to his territory, too. You know, you don't have to just step out of the way for the receivers.
Good point. 2:40 to go. It's Ottawa by 2, and the Tiger Cats kicking it away. Osbaldiston into the wind. Drawhorn watches it bounce, and it rolls out near the 51. Pretty good kick by Osbaldiston. 42 yards into the breeze, no return.
Well, Joe's been involved in a couple of cliffhangers. Last week's win against the Edmonton Eskimos was something that I'm sure he'll never forget. I mean, he thought he was dead in the water, but lo and behold, what do? They win the game. And tonight they're trying to protect the 2-point lead.
With 2:33 to go, Rough Riders first down at the 48. Good fake by Allen, and he has a first down. James Ellingson. After that, Ellingson draws a flag. 13-yard gain. Now that's pretty silly football.
What a great fake, though, by Damon Allen.
Major foul, spearing, Hamilton number 42, first down.
That's John Moten, and that was the silly play.
And especially with the wind at Ottawa's back, there now in field goal range on one play, and boy, they're going to call that every time. That's intent to injure, and the officials make a real smart call there.
From the 34, this is Reggie Barnes, halfway to a first down at least.
You saw the penalty story there, numbers-wise, and really been a pretty clean game up until this point. That's probably the most critical penalty.
Moten got another penalty there, and then another flag flew. Could be 2 penalties against the Hamilton Tiger Cats here now.
Unnecessary roughness, Hamilton number 42. Unnecessary roughness, Hamilton number 45. First down.
Well, Moten will grab Reggie Barnes after he'd been stopped and fire him back there. That drew a flag. That was unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, no question about that. Really no need for that. And penalties now have just given the Ottawa Rough Riders 45 extra yards on this drive. And boy, you look back at the game, this is, talk about a turning point.
This could be it. Sean Daniels on 1st and goal to go from the 7.
And you wonder, as we look at David Beckman, what is going through his mind right now. His team trails by a couple, and discipline really a problem here late in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, I know who's not going to Beckman's for dinner after the game. 42.
Yeah. And maybe the owner, David Braley.
2:10 to go. Tiger Cats looked good in the first half and stalled a little bit in the second. Ottawa came on to lead the game by 2 right now, but only 3 yards away from a touchdown.
The Ottawa Rough Riders not sure what they wanted to do on offense, and a smart play to take the timeout. You hate like heck to stop the clock here, but really a good decision rather than run a play that not everybody is certain with. So Damon Allen calls the timeout, and he will go over and have a discussion with Joe Faragelli.
He's got the play from Papa Joe. And time ticks down on the Tiger Cats, and Coach David Beckman looking for his first win of 1991. And the possibility slipping away here now. 2nd and goal to go from the 3. Flags all over the field. Allen is dragged down from behind. Dennis was there. Number 49, Mark Dennis.
Penalty markers on the play.
So 1 break for the Tiger Cats. Little illegal procedure as Illebrun moved a little early.
Procedure. Ottawa number 69. Decline. 3rd down.
The right side, I guess. Illebrun and Ilyarenko.
Tell you, when the game gets intense, though, and the roughing penalties start and the funny business starts, Jake Ireland is a good guy to have out there as the head referee. I mean, he will not take any funny stuff from the players, and he runs a pretty strict game. Well, you notice whenever Toronto and Winnipeg are playing, you know who's the head referee in that one?
Does Jake always do that one?
Jake, about 9 times out of 10, will do that game.
Here's Terry Baker, a little chip shot here from about 12 yards away. No doubt about it. So it's 24-19. Ottawa leading Hamilton. The Ticats come away a little bit lucky on that sequence. After all the penalties and everything, there's still a shot with 1:40 to go. But they'll need a touchdown, Leaf.
Well, they choose not to have the Ottawa Rough Riders kick off and waste any more time on that clock, and I think that's a pretty good call there. Get it to 35 and save all the time you can for your offense.
David Beckman needs a touchdown to win his first of the season. Ottawa in front of Hamilton, 24-19. 1:40 to play. Kerrigan. And he was off target for Nick Mazzoli. Andre Francis covering on Mazzoli.
When you run a hook pattern, you're expected to go straight downfield about 12 yards and then stop dead and come right back to the quarterback. And common mistake of a young receiver, just sliding it too much to the inside. And Mike Kerrigan, who probably has not worked a great deal with Nick Mazzoli, wasn't even close.
2nd and 10, 1:35 to go. The Tiger Cats are at the 35. Kerrigan needs a first down here. Can he get it? Sending Winfield downfield. It's almost picked off by Scott Flagel.
Kerrigan's pass is knocked down by Scott.
1:26. That was Daniel Hunter covering on Winfield.
Well, the deficiency of not having a running quarterback really has hurt the Hamilton Tiger Cats a little bit tonight. Mike Kerrigan not fleet of foot, and at a point in time where sometimes the quarterback has to take it into his own hands and run with the football, he's just not able to do so. Consequently, 3rd and 10, and the game's on the line.
A minute 26 to play. Kerrigan needs a first down, and Winfield can't make the catch. Daniel Hunter covering on Earl Winfield. He had to go to the veteran there, and Winfield had a shot at it, I thought.
He had a shot at it, but Daniel Hunter has played aggressively against the Hamilton receivers all night long, and he comes up and jams Winfield. There you see it, and it throws Winfield off enough that by the time he snaps his head around, he can't really adjust and make the catch. So I would say there's a positive reaction coming from the head coach. Says it all. Now he's looking around for that water bucket.
Yeah.
And here's first win, he got nailed. The first thing he did, he raised his arms, and then he started looking for the Gatorade bucket.
Well, there's a minute 20 to go. Riders will try and run out the clock. And they run it with Reggie Barnes. No penalty markers down in spite of some shoving after the whistle. The gain for Barnes is 5. This is 2nd and 5. Beckman staring straight at loss number 7 in succession. Joe Faragelli looking for his 3rd straight win. And I like Joe's chances.
Well, they're going to grind it out here. They brought the short yardage team in to try and kill this clock. Just under a minute now remaining.
5-point ball game. Ottawa leading 24-19. Barnes on 2nd and 5. Now 42 seconds to go, and that will be another Ottawa first down.
Well, no doubt the frustration showing for the Hamilton Ticat defense. They know that they made some glaring errors on that last drive of Ottawa with those roughing penalties, and Pete Giftopoulos, although he has played an excellent game on defense, the Ticats once again will come up a little short and still look for their first win.
27 seconds to go. Ottawa in possession with a first down as Damon Allen wastes another few seconds.
Here we go. Somebody took a shot. Moten took a shot at the guy right in the back. Gerald Roper. Moten hit him right in the back. That's frustration, nothing more.
7 straight losses, and I guess that can explain a lot of what's happened to the Tiger Cats.
Yeah, 42 again. John Moten, he just took an absolute cheap shot at Gerald Roper right in the back.
Tiger Cats have given up, or have taken 119 yards in penalties. A lot of it in the last couple of drives by the Ottawa Rough Riders, and a lot of it from John Moten. Now 20 seconds to go.
Jake's whistling this thing in fast. He wants to get it over with before anything else happens. Joe, you better start looking out for that bucket.
Papa Joe has some fans who have traveled down from Ottawa. Faragelli and the Rough Riders have won 3 in a row. He can't seem to do anything wrong. The Tiger Cats put up a pretty good effort in the first half, even through the first 3 quarters tonight. Ottawa showed a little poise, hung in there, and came back for the win.
Well, Ottawa was a very patient team tonight, and tribute to Joe Faragelli and the rest of his coaching staff. They waited for the opportunity. It came on a Scott Flagel interception, and they took advantage of the turnover and the Hamilton mistakes with the roughing penalties, and they become victorious. As you see the handshake between David Beckman and Joe Faragelli, and what lies ahead for David Beckman. 0-7. Certainly feel badly for the man, but I suspect at this point there's not a whole lot of light at the end of the tunnel.
Not for the Tiger Cats at this stage of things, particularly falling 6 points back of their closest rivals for a playoff spots, the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Well, it's funny, they play each other next week in Ottawa Thursday night, and so that sets up a crucial game for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. If they have any hopes of getting into the playoffs, they have to win next week in Hamilton.
Let's go down to Gord Miller, standing by with Wally Zatilny.
All right, thanks very much, John. Wally, for the second week in a row, a game your team probably should have won.
Yeah, we came out strong. We started moving the ball well. You know, the first time in 2 years, I think our ground game took off right away. We had a great first half, and just like last week, we just couldn't put two halves together.
How frustrating is this?
Oh, it's frustrating. I mean, I don't think I've ever been on a team going 0-7 in my lifetime, you know, hockey, football, anything. So, I mean, you know, it's incredibly frustrating, and, you know, we just got to get something going, or, you know, something drastic's got to happen.
Do you think something drastic has to happen here?
I don't know. I mean, you know, we're trying everything. You know, we got the revolving door going now, and I don't know. It's just it's frustrating right now, but we've got to turn things around, or something's got to happen.
Never did get the trick play going, did you?
No. Maybe that was it.
Wally, thanks very much.
Okay, Gert. Bye.
Wally Zatilny of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, our guest here following the game. Can we bring Joe right in? Joe, come on in. Joe Faragelli is now 3-0 as the head coach of the Ottawa Rough Riders. Welcome back to the CFL.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Joe, this was a tough one tonight. Your team trailed at the half, trailed in the third quarter. Yeah. What happened late in the third quarter and fourth?
Well, I think the turnover, I think they got a penalty, and then they had a turnover, and then we took it in and scored, and we had to win in the last quarter, and I think that helped us a lot.
Even though it's only your third week, that was a key win for your football team to put 6 points between yourselves and Ottawa.
Yeah, well, you know, I told them it's a four-point game. 2 we get, 2 they don't, and we got to, you know, don't give them a chance to get back in the hunt. And we got to get next week. It's going to be tough.
You talked to me before this game about Damon Allen and the fact that he didn't have to do it all by himself. He had a pretty decent night, it seemed.
Yeah, well, that's all you have to play is decent, use the people around you, play good, hard defense. I thought our special teams were excellent, you know, covering. So, you know, we kind of put the three together and we won.
Joe Faragelli, thanks very much, and may your good luck continue.
I hope so. Thank you.
Joe Faragelli, the head coach of the Ottawa Rough Riders, and I believe we have a quarterback standing here, Damon Allen, the man of the moment for the Ottawa Rough Riders. Damon, Joe Faragelli was telling us before this game and just now that he talked to you when he came in about not having to carry the whole team on your shoulders. Do you feel more comfortable right now?
Well, I feel more comfortable out there. Just a matter because we're able to run the ball now, and we want to get to the ball to our guns, and unfortunately, we really tried to get Reggie the ball, and also, but it was very difficult because they did a good job of playing good defense against the run. So it was a matter of one of them games where you struggle and you just keep on fighting until eventually things will turn around, and we did.
Damon, we'll get you to take a look at the monitor here and have a look at your key run here in the fourth quarter. Are you running the ball less, or does it just seem that way these days?
It's hard to tell. I think this game today, we didn't run well, I didn't get out as much as I wanted to and run, but you know, they did a good job of containing me in the pocket, but when I had to run, I did what you say, a good job of running.
All right, Damon Allen, thanks very much. Congratulations, and what a difference 3 weeks makes.
Well, there's no question it makes a great difference, but today was a very difficult ball game, and we're looking forward for another tough ball game next week, and we're looking forward for the challenge.
Damon, thanks very much.
All right, thank you.
Damon Allen of the victorious Ottawa Rough Riders, who win here at Ivor Wynne Stadium tonight. Back with more on the Game of the Week in just a moment. Time now for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Delta Faucets. It comes in the fourth quarter. Hamilton leading the football game. Mike Kerrigan back, looking to the sideline, finds instead Scott Flagel over the middle. The Ottawa safety comes up with the interception, takes it down to the Hamilton 37-yard line. That sets up the go-ahead score, which turned out to be the winning points for Ottawa. A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of coaches in amateur sport on behalf of TSN and Delta Faucet. Delta Faucet brings water to life. And guess who's with us? The man of the hour, Scott Flagel. What happened on that play, Scott?
Quick post by, I think, Wally Zatilny, the wideout, and Mike Aaron trying to get the ball to him quick, and that's the kind of thrower he is. I just happened to read it, jumped down on the ball, and, made the interception.
It was a tough one tonight. They ran the ball well in the first 3 quarters especially.
They showed a lot of new plays for us that we're going to go back and obviously look at and try and, find some keys as to when and why they do them. But they really, they played hard tonight, and it was really not a surprise, but with the new plays, their offense gives us a lot more trouble than we thought they would.
We saw you guys about 3.5 weeks ago. This seems like a completely different football team with a completely different attitude.
Well, same team, obviously. I mean, the attitude has changed, there's no question, but just like thinking in the fourth quarter there, whereas maybe in the first 4 games we may have lost hope, lost sight. We walked into that series and actually said we're going to get a turnover. Someone out here's going to get a turnover. Turned out it was me, and offense went in and scored. That's what you got to look for and really believe in.
Scott, congratulations too on what happened Friday night. A new baby girl.
Yeah, a new baby girl. Hi, Georgia. Hi, Jordan, Lorna. A baby girl on 20-3 on Friday afternoon. So I'm really happy about that. Lorna did great.
And Scott Flagel, you're not so bad yourself. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Scott Flagel of the Ottawa Rough Riders. Back with more from Iverwood Stadium in just a moment. You're watching the CFL live on TSN. Fourth quarter gave Ottawa the edge on the scoreboard and in the final statistics. 310 total yards to Hamilton's 279. And Ottawa also ran the ball a little more in the fourth quarter than Hamilton did. Hamilton had a wide lead in the rushing yards department, but 2 turnovers, including that big interception by Scott Flagel, proved to be the difference in the football game. For the second straight week, the Hamilton Ticats can legitimately say it was a football game they should have won. But for the second straight week, they have to say it's one they didn't. And now at 0-7, the question is what changes will be made. Certainly there'll be more reports about David Beckman getting the axe, but he hasn't so far. And his Ticats haven't played so badly, but they're now 6 points out of a playoff spot in the Eastern Division, and they've got the Ottawa Rough Riders again next week, this time at Lansdowne Park. 8 points down might be way too far to come back. For some final thoughts, let's hear now from John and Leaf.
Well, should have or could have won this football game. I think that the Hamilton Tiger Cats played well early, but you can't deny what the Ottawa Rough Riders did late in the game.
I agree with you, John. I think the Ottawa Rough Riders bided their time nicely and waited for the opportunity. They got it with the Flagel interception. And Flagel, for the second week in a row, comes up with the big play on defense. Last week it was to hold Michael Souls up so the clock ran out. This week it's the interception intended for Wally Zatilny, so Scott Flagel. The defense doing the job, and Damon L on the offense. I think they had every right to deserve to win that game.
Heartbreak for the Hamilton Tiger Cats on the defensive side of the ball. They came up with a pretty good strategy and stopped Reggie Barnes much of the night. Barnes didn't run like he did last week, and somehow Ottawa still found a way to win.
It's interesting. If you recall in the opening, I said anytime Reggie Barnes rushes for 100 yards, Ottawa stands a great chance of beating really any team in the CFL. But tonight, only 39 yards. Hamilton defense did a great job, but still it really didn't matter because they still lost the football game. But in one area, they really improved. In the other, the big one, the win column, they didn't improve.
Yeah, offensively, you have to wonder what the Tiger Cats really had for weapons out there tonight as far as receivers were concerned. I don't know if it was miscues between quarterbacks and receivers or what was going on, but when they needed a key catch, the Tiger Cats couldn't come up with one.
No, they didn't. And, this is not a knock on Mike Kerrigan. He has had some tremendously productive seasons. You look back to their Grey Cup years. He was the MVP in that game and a notorious passer when he gets hot. But quite honestly, I think the league dictates that you have a quarterback that has mobility, and I think that really showed in the second half for the Ticats. When it was time to run the football from the quarterbacking position against the pressure, it just wasn't there, and I think that hurts them.
Looking at the standings in the Eastern Division of the Canadian Football League, 0-7. It's a long way to a playoff spot, and we talked a little bit about the rematch coming up at Lansdowne next week. 0-8, it could be almost over for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Well, I think it might be. I would think 10 points would be unheard of to come back from at that stage of the season. That'll be after the 8th week, and so each game becomes even more crucial. Tonight was a crucial game for the Ticats, and next week even becomes more crucial if they have any hopes of trying to salvage their season.
Well, another heartbreaker for the Tiger Cats, this one on home turf at Iverwood Stadium as they fall 0-7 for 1991. There were a few bright spots, but in the end, the result was the same. Gord?
Thanks very much, gentlemen. The questions remain here in Hamilton. Not even a full moon enough to save the Ticats from defeat tonight at the hands of the Ottawa Rough Riders, who come up with the victory 24-19. We'll have back for more from Iverwood Stadium in Hamilton in just a moment. You're watching the CFL Game of the Week on TSN.